We shall continue with the chapter Revolt Against the British Rule. In this episode, we shall continue with the causes for the revolt of 1857. In particular, we shall deal with the socio-religious causes, the military causes, and the immediate causes for the outbreak of the revolt of 1857. Now, we shall start with the socio-religious causes. With the introduction of Western civilization came the English medium education, which struck at the very roots of the traditional Indian Orthodox beliefs. It was also observed that the permission given by the British rulers for the missionaries to work in Indian society caused a great deal of discontent among the locals. They feared that the missionaries were here to evangelize the Indians or to convert the Indians to Christianity. The suppression of the sati and infanticide through various legislations was one of the causes for the revolt. The widow remarriage legislation was yet another reason. The right of inheritance given to all Indians who were converted to Christians or Christianity. The introduction of railways and telegraph was unwelcome by the local natives. The racial overtones and superiority complex displayed by the British throughout their rule over India. The taxation policy, wherein the mosques and temple lands were taxed. All in all, it can be summarized as the Hindus feared the loss of religion through the activities of the Britishers and the missionaries. Now, this summarizes the socio-religious causes. Now, we shall start with the military causes. In Vellore, during 1806, there was Sepoy mutiny, and that was against the new regulations which were introduced then. In Barakpur in 1824, there was a mutiny among the sepoys. It was against the sea expedition to Burma. This was particularly not favored by the locals, as in those days traveling by sea was considered to be a religious taboo among the Hindus. The allowances which were given to the Indian soldiers during the war was eventually seen to be withdrawn after the war. In 1856, Lord Canning introduced the General Enlistment Act, wherein it stated that the new recruits would march as ordered and would serve wherever indicated. The Bengal army, it was said, was always rebellious and was almost on the verge of revolt. The sepoys were very discontent with the disparity in the numbers, the salary, and the promotion aspects between the Indians and Europeans. They were very restive regarding this issue. The sepoys, it was observed, were not given batta or the foreign service allowance when they were serving in Sindh and Punjab, which they very rightfully sought to be given. This summarizes the military causes. Now we shall look into the immediate causes for the revolt of 1857. It was observed that the use of greased cartridges in the newly introduced Enfield rifles, which was smeared with cow or pig fat, was considered to be a taboo, as it was very unclean among the Hindus as well as the Muslims. In 1857 July, the Dum Dum troops refused to use these greased cartridges. However, it was seen that few months before this Dum Dum uprising, in February, trouble broke out at Behrampur in Bengal. Subsequently, in March of 1857, the Barakpur sepoys, they revolted. They wounded the European officer, for which their regiment was disbanded, and the leader of this uprising Mr. Mangal Pandey was executed subsequently. In 1857 May, there was a revolt at Meerut wherein 85 sepoys were sentenced to 10 years of imprisonment for having refused to use the greased cartridges. Subsequently, three Indian regiments they shot at the European officials, they broke the prisons, released their comrades, and marched to Delhi. There, they proclaimed Mughal Bahadur Shah Zafar, the Emperor of India, after killing Simon Fraser, the political agent. Regarding the participation of the natives in the revolt of 1857, it could be summarized through this saying, which says, the revolt by sepoys was accompanied by civilian rebellion with participation by peasants, artisans, shopkeepers, day laborers, zamindars, religious mendicants, priests, and civil servants who gave real strength and character to the revolt. Now, what we can observe here is that almost all sections of the society were a part of this revolt.